criticized Manafort, and again and again and again. He says positive things, even after Manafort agreed to cooperate with prosecutors. How is that not dangling a pardon, saying, just be quiet, don't worry?
Well, I mean, if this is a crime, it's the most conspicuous crime in the history of man to have a tweet that basically says, why would I give up the possibility of pardons in front of whatever, 300 million Americans and God knows how many other people. I mean, most obstruction takes place quietly and maybe more effectively because there's a criminal intent. So, look, there are certainly political repercussions, and I'm not saying that congressmen in the new House of Reps won't pursue impeachment. But in terms of the law, a criminal violation, this is a real stretch, no matter what you have to say. And by the way, complimenting Manafort while Manafort was beginning to cooperate with the probe seems a little inconsistent with suddenly dangling a pardon. This is a guy who already went to trial, started to cooperate, and now he's in breach. So I'm not sure what the timing would be for any sort of dangle anyway. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to offer it up now.
Norm?
Well, if this were just one comment to the New York Post, if it were just tweets, if it were just words, if it were just even, Aaron, the series of clips you played, but it's actions. He did fire Comey. He has again and again manifested an intention and actions to interfere with this investigation. He did dictate a false statement for his son, a key witness. And it's that larger pattern. These are more tiles in the mosaic. We'll find out. But I think that the fact that Bob Mueller has invested so much time and energy in looking at the obstruction question tells you that it's serious. There are a series of cases in the federal court, the Sintolo case, the Cioffi case, many cases where far less interference than this by those who had a legal duty but abused their legal duty for an improper purpose were prosecuted for obstruction. And I think there's very powerful evidence here.
So, James, let me ask you, because obviously the New York Times has reported, right, Manafort's legal team has been briefing Trump's team on their interactions with Mueller. As a regular citizen, that sounds really strange to me. My understanding is that that can happen, but it is incredibly unusual for it to be happening now, as they report it still is, which is after Manafort was supposedly cooperating with a special counsel, to still be cooperating and sharing information with Team Trump. Why do you think they're doing that? And do you see that actually as a positive? Like, hey, if they're going to be communicating a pardon, they'd do it that way. The president wouldn't need to communicate it via the airwave.
Well, I don't know that I can't say that I know specifically why they would continue to work within a joint defense agreement. I mean, most joint defense agreements contemplate that if your client suddenly has an adverse interest to the rest of the team, to which you're essentially extending attorney-client privilege, that you withdraw from that agreement. So, yeah, normally you'd expect if somebody starts to cooperate that they withdraw from that agreement and they're never part of the team again. Here, maybe because it's so conspicuous, because everything is so public, including the filings that have been filed and will come, it might be something where they feel they can still communicate. That part's unusual, but again, I don't know that I can put anything particularly sinister about the fact that the attorneys are in touch.
I just want to, some things, news here just coming in, as this interview that the president gave the Post is coming out. You know, obviously I showed you the tweet, right, where he compared Mueller to McCarthy. And earlier today, he had retweeted an image which shows Rod Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General, who appointed Mueller, among others, behind bars, right? So he put Rod Rosenstein, his Deputy Attorney General, behind bars. It is now coming out that in his interview with the New York Post, they asked why. Why do you think Rod Rosenstein belongs behind bars? Trump replied, quote, he should never have picked a special counsel. He declined to comment on whether he's planning on firing Rosenstein. Norm.
Well, Rod Rosenstein is one of the finest public servants that our justice system has ever seen. I've known him for a quarter of a century, and he may be exceeded in that capacity only by Bob Mueller. They're two outstanding men, both rock-ribbed Republicans, and I think it's just terrible that the president, apart from the legal issues, which are profound, Aaron, it's atrocious that we have a president of the United States who threatens criminal prosecution against his adversaries for doing what? Following the law. It was not a close question to appoint a special that was required under the law, like the Sessions recusal was required. So you have a president here who's run amok. He's off the rails. No wonder he's a named subject in an obstruction of justice investigation.
James, you know Rod Rosenstein. What do you make of this? The president saying he should never have picked a special counsel, declining to comment on his firing. Certainly, obviously sounds like he wants everyone to go there and think that. I mean, it couldn't be more clear. That doesn't concern you?
Well, not a whole lot. I mean, the reason is a couple of things. One is, Rod's professional death watch has been going on for about a year and a half. There's been literally parades of media watching him go to lunch thinking he's about to turn in his resignation, and it hasn't happened. And so whatever we think about the daily barrage of tweets and retweets, at some point, I think the president actually respects the job that Rod Rosenstein and Bob Mueller are capable of doing. There's a whole lot of unknowns that none of us have, including whether they're emphasizing obstruction of justice or other things in their investigation. So, look, I don't like seeing a barrage of tweets.
I guess we can all agree, though, retweeting an image of him behind bars and saying that he should never have done perhaps the most crucial thing in his career is hardly showing respect.
Oh, I totally agree. But I think that, again, it goes back to the fact that when I think there's a devilish side of President Trump that really enjoys having everybody hot and bothered about everything he says. I'm not sure that he views these comments as gospel. I think he throws them out sometimes in frustration, sometimes to just get attention. And all of us react like this is exactly the State of the Union at this moment. I'm not sure that's the appropriate way to look at it at this point. There's such a daily barrage of crazy comments coming from all quarters that it's hard to sift through and figure out the legal evidence.
This is the President of the United States. He's our most senior law enforcement official. He's supposed to signal respect. He exemplifies the Constitution. And for him to denigrate our constitutional norms